Warm greetings from Creative Hub Tallinn. Welcome to join the online conference to talk about best practices and apps and technical solutions to be provided for our children who need to currently learn at home. Special welcome to our journalists, which will have an opportunity also to ask questions from our speakers later. The Education Nation webinar is organized by Estonian education startups and Foundation Innove together with many more partners. All of you watching the webinar, you also have the opportunity to ask questions. Please go to the webpage sli.do and log into our event, Education Nation, one word. We have 4 speakers today coming live all across Estonia. Meelike Terasmaa, head specialist in the field of special education at Foundation Message Innove. She's previously worked in a school and has always been interested in making teaching and learning more interactive. She also is a hobby teacher education and excited in finding ways how to best and efficiently connect with group of distant learners. Einar Vara, he's an advisor in curriculum development of general education schools and foundations in Innove in Estonia. He has been working in the field of education for 35 years as a teacher, a school principal, a college lecturer, vice rector, and as a civil servant. Kärt-Katrin Pere, she is a chief specialist in foreign languages at the General Education Curriculum Development Center at Foundation Innove in Estonia. She has participated in the OECD Future of Education and Skills 2030 project since 2017. She has general linguistics and has co-organized the Linguistics Olympiad in the University of Tartu Youth Academy for 8 years. And also, warm welcome to Kadri Tuisk. She's a founder and current CEO of Clanbeat, which is a growth support tool for schools. Clanbeat helps people and communities at schools achieve their goals and shape their own future. Kadri is an IT and service design professional. So glad to have all of you here. Before we go to our topics, I would like briefly to ask from you. We've been in Estonia in this new system of everybody learning at home for 1 week. Different countries in Europe, the situation is different. With short sentence, how do you think we are generally doing with this topic? Meelike, please.
I think we are doing all good, and I think that the most important thing is that the learning is really happening.
Einar, what is your opinion?
Well, it is the conclusion of my presentation, in fact, that our teachers, our parents, our students are great. And I think that speaking about this week, that everything worked quite well.
Kärt?
I agree with the previous speakers, and I am especially happy to see that teachers themselves are collaborating all around Estonia and supporting each other, and that is really heartwarming to see.
Well, Kadri, before we go more deeper into your topic, just in general, have a lot of new apps and solutions being used now in Estonia and globally?
Yes, they are being used, and I also would like to bring out the agility, which has come up with the last few weeks. Many technical solutions have been adjusted to the current situation and are being offered to the world.
All right, let's start with practical tips for parents and organizing learnings at home. Meelike Terasmaa, would you give us an insight for the main tips and tricks in this new situation, please?
Well, the distance learning is new for the majority of us, and the start of it is most likely a bit messy. But in order to make the distance learning smoother, we are just going through some practical tips. The organization of distance learning most likely differs from school to school a lot. And because of that, it's really important to know how exactly is it organized in your school. This is a whole new situation for all of us. which means that the schools and teachers might also need some time to go through and plan the new ways in organizing teaching. So be just patient. Stay in good contact with the school, with the teachers of your child and the other specialists if needed. And check the information regularly from the webpage of the school and from other mutual platforms you have been using on daily basis so far. For example, in Estonia, we are mainly using eSchool and Studium. So if possible, also agree on the mutual online briefing for parents and teachers once a week, for example, if it is possible. And the teachers are the ones giving guidelines about the tasks, reporting, feedback possibilities, and also assessment. I just encourage you to trust them and support them, and they're also doing their best in this situation. And if you have any questions or something you don't understand, just ask extra information from the teacher. And also remember that you don't have to act as a teacher yourself. Your role is just to support and assist the child in his or her learning. And if you need some help, please contact with the school or the local authority and let them know if and what kind of difficulties you are having. And only then you can start finding solutions together. For example, if your child is expected to use computer for some task and you don't have the possibility to use it at home, ask from the school. So maybe they have the possibility to hand those out for the period of distance learning. Or for example, we here in Estonia, we have the social project called Computer to Every School Child, which was started here in Estonia almost a week ago now. And we have a Facebook group to keep it running. Through the group, parents and also companies are asked to share information about computers they're not using anymore and want to give those away. And on the other hand, those who are in need of a computer can ask for help. So find out what kind of possibilities you have in your community. It is really important that no one is left behind because they don't have the opportunity to use electronic devices. And also remember that remote learning is not only e-learning.
Is there any routines to follow when organizing remote learnings at home?
Yeah, I would say that the everyday routine is definitely helpful, and I think it's really important to follow the same routine every day. So wake up at the same time, make sure your child gets enough sleep, plan the schedule for the day with your child, and if possible, use some graphics or photos, depending on the age of your child. And also plan together with your child the free time and establish some clear rules. I think that you should also think through how much support your child needs during the day. Who is the one going to be with him or her during this time? So most likely also the older brothers and sisters, they also have to study and can't be the supervisors. So maybe it's helpful if you are going through your child's tasks and check if he or she is able to cope with this alone. For example, the mutual platforms we are using for cooperation between home and school, the eSchool and Studium I mentioned before, a lot of children didn't have their own account before the start of the distance learning. And because so far they had got all the information needed from their parents. And now when they needed to log in by themselves, they had no idea how to do that. So make sure that not only you, but your child as well has the access for the information he or she needs. And for the tasks, for the school tasks, you can create together with your child some system, for example, using post-its to better differentiate the tasks, like haven't started, in progress, done. And also you can agree with your child the time you're learning together.
What about...
And really encourage him and praise him.
Yes, I was just going to say, what about the mental support that we need to give to the children that also need to live with this special situation? What can we do to support them and help them feel encouraged?
Of course, you can praise your child regularly for completing tasks or for the or even for the effort he or she is making. And well, when you're giving feedback for the teacher, you can also ask feedback from the teacher that the child also is definitely motivated when the positive feedback is not only from home but from the school as well.
To bear it up for all the parents that are watching us right now, what would be your summary?
I think it's really important for the parents to know that they don't have to be, or they don't have to try to be equally efficient as a parent, teacher, and employee all at the same time. And it's also important to know that the parent definitely, they're not alone in this situation. So a lot of parents are definitely facing the same difficulties as you are and having the same questions. And you might ask for the help, maybe from the online support groups as well. They have been working really well in Estonia at the moment. And I also encourage you that if your child becomes sick, make sure you notify the teacher of the child immediately, because otherwise your child has to study when he or she is not feeling well. And I also want to just, for the conclusion, yes, the situation is only temporary. And for sure, we are all learning a lot from this experience. And I really want to say that don't be too harsh on yourself. And we don't have to be heroes and bear all the responsibility alone.
Thank you, Melike. In this situation, we have parents, teachers, students. There is different parties that are affected and need to cope somehow together. How to collaborate in this situation? Einar.
Well, as Melike told about the situation from the point of view of teachers and of parents, and Katrin will continue with the teacher's perspective. So it is logical that I'm between them and tell about the collaboration. I would like to start with this note that this emergency situation that was declared a week ago, Friday 13th, it's a very right day to declare this kind of things. Well, and it was somehow unexpected. And as schools were closed, so this remote learning or e-learning, learning at home, it was the only possibility. And the question was that, do we have conditions to make the remote learning to be successful? And the answer was yes, because we had three very important things for that. So the first is autonomy of our schools and teachers, so they can make decisions about the teaching and learning process. Another important thing is flexible national curricula. And the third, it's e-solutions in education. So we have online databases, we have digital learning materials, we have digital learning environments, and so on. But successful remote learning is possible only in collaboration among parents, teachers, and students. And this is crucial in this moment.
Unfortunately, we didn't have time to practice this, so at the same time, we need to learn about how to do this collaboration, and at the same time, we are also trying to share this experience with others. Does it work well so far? What is your overview at this situation?
Yes, I think so. And we have some very good examples. For example, in today's teachers' newspaper, there is a story from one school in near the Tartu. So, and I think that this week showed that our people are able to care about each other. And I think that this is the most important thing, that we have to understand that current situation is new and complicated for all of us, for students, for teachers, for parents. And it is normal that we don't have all the answers to all the questions. We all learn here.
So what are the key factors for successful collaboration?
And I think that key factors, one is that we understand that this is a complicated situation for all of us, as I told. Another thing is to understand that collaboration is a two-way road. Would it be students, teachers? Would it be students, their parents? Would it be teachers, parents? So if we want to have real good collaboration, we have to take into account needs and problems of other sides. The third thing, I think, is flexibility. In timetable, in deadlines for submission of works, for example, and diversity of tasks. It means that we cannot transfer 100% the everyday routine as we had it before this situation. So we have to find other ways, and it is it's not there, or take it as an opportunity, not as a problem or barrier. The next one is communication. So let's use social networks for sharing best experience, technical solutions, discussions, etc. We need information by now. And last but not least, I think is calmness and care. We don't know how long will this situation last, and staying calm and caring for each other is the only way to stay healthy.
In Estonia, we've had some good practices and good lessons on this. Maybe you can briefly share some of it, and maybe you can also tell, if you know outside of Estonia, some good lessons that we have learned in this situation.
Well, I think that the most important, as I told you, that schools take this situation as an opportunity. So they have the possibility to try new ways of work. So it's a way to break the everyday routine as we had it before. So this is the most important thing, and I think that there are a lot of examples from our Estonian schools. As I told you, for example, from Tartu and from Tallinn and so on. So and from abroad as well. So I think that everyone can find them in media and in social networks.
As you all have told, this is a new situation for everyone, but also a very challenging situation for the teacher who has to take care of a lot of students from distance. Gert, what are your thoughts or suggestions for teachers? How cope with this situation?
Thank you, Meilike and Einar, for covering some of my notes. So, as is said and cannot be stressed enough, this is a new situation for all of us. And as I mentioned before, a lot of support is going on and shared, and it's really nice to see But I would like to also stress that teachers, you are the experts. And all we can do here is share some friendly advice. But you know your students, you know your subject, and nevertheless, keeping that in mind, it is still perfectly okay to ask for help, as also Melike said. And you're not alone. So if we learn in this together, then we can succeed. So ask for help from your local authorities and from the ministry and so on. And as also mentioned already, sharing your experience, sharing your materials right now is what helps you through this. You don't have to invent so much. And as also Einar mentioned, flexibility with the plan and also Melike is really beneficial right now. So we've heard about schools who stick to their plan. So their daily schedule, they might have math at 12 o'clock, history at 1 o'clock, and this might work to stick to the routine. But then we have also heard about schools that opt for a weekly plan. So this gives more flexibility again for the students, for the teachers, and the parents to collaborate on this to find the best time for them to do the assignment. And as was also mentioned, not all of us and not all the students have their own personal electronic device at home. And also, as Melik pointed out, we are dealing with it, and very lovely people from the community have helped us out with this. But still, flexibility in this planning is key, and that is also why I would not I would recommend avoiding strict deadlines, which would also add more stress to a perhaps already stressful situation. And these virtual whole class meetings might be fun and beneficial, but again, there might be technical problems or other obstacles. So plan alternatives. And we've also heard about and will hear about many lovely platforms and environments to do all this learning. But especially at the beginning, it is wise to stick to perhaps one or a few of these platforms because they are confusing, and especially for the younger learners, they will need support from their parents, and this will take time. So perhaps in the beginning, within your school, it's good to maybe make these agreements on what to choose for these learners. And going on to collaboration, cannot be again stressed enough that we are in this together. And as Ina also mentioned, that we can make the best of the situation. Actually, what we have talked about in the OECD Education 2030 or worldwide during the last years is 21st century skills and general competencies of the learners. So what we would like from our learners is for them to become, well, decent human beings, let's say that. And so now especially I would say is the time to perhaps shift from too much stress on the content. Content is important, of course, but shift to these shaping these competencies from our students, that they'll be critically thinking, creative. They'll have creative thinking, collaboration skills, and initiative, entrepreneurship, and of course, so the digital literacy. And this will come in handy. Actually, it is of course an inconvenient situation to say the least, but this might promote actually independent and self-directed learner development. So right now, by guiding the students, it is important to actually show them as well that at the end of the day, there is a big role for the teacher, but at the end of the day, the learner themselves, they are the ones who are responsible for their learning. So only the learner can learn, if to put it very simply. And the teacher is there to support the learner, of course. And there are a lot of these platforms, but as also Melike mentioned, remote learning is not only e-learning. So think about alternatives and think about discovery learning. And discovery learning also gives a great opportunity to integrate subjects. Why not combine history with foreign languages and geography, and why not make assignments for to be done outdoors, of course, safely, and without the help of the classmates being there for health reasons, but weather observation for nature sciences, why not? And in the end, our good old text and workbooks are still there and they work.
Gareth, how can teachers keep themselves calm? How are they supported in this special situation, and how can they take care of their own stress in this process?
It's a very good question. We're all trying to answer it, the teachers themselves as well, of course. And I would say that through these groups, we've been observing, we have them on Facebook, but you have, of course, other means as well, and teacher associations. And I think that through supporting each other and through communicating and talking about their experience and knowing that, as everyone has said, that this is new and we don't have to have all the answers right away, that we can and we should take one step at a time. And we've also seen that students really also they are doing their best, that everyone wants to make this situation work. And I think one of the things that makes perhaps students also work right now is that if we make this situation work, then there will be no chance of let's say stealing some time from the summer. Although this has not, of course, been said, but I think this is a motivation as well, that if we do make this work, then we can make school year end as it should.
So to sum it up.
To sum it up, as also Einar mentioned, care, and Melik also mentioned that caring for our students is really, really important right now. When students have been asked on surveys, in my experience at least, when they are asked the qualities they want to see in a teacher, they never put absolute knowledge in their field or making no mistakes first. They always have compassion, understanding, approachable, friendly, these qualities for good and the best teachers. So now is the time to show this. Be approachable, and Melik already mentioned this lending computers, but also students probably might need more time now than usual. And building trust is really important, that you really do believe them when they say they have technical issues or other obstacles in their learning, that try not to be suspicious and build trust. And when you see them falling behind, as always, you get in touch with them, but now especially, and we might even recommend calling, because it's direct and you can see where they need their support. And what also has our ministry said this week is a recommendation, not an obligation, but if we can avoid during the first weeks, especially because it's the time to adjust really, to avoid numerical assessment. So we have to think about what the assessment is for. So it's for the learner. It's for to show the learner where they have been successful, how they have to proceed, and it should be motivating. So the first week should be all about motivating and supportive, and perhaps this numerical assessment might add much stress to it, and most importantly, it shouldn't be a punishment. And of course, please don't forget to take care of yourselves in all of this situation. These are my main messages: communication, flexibility, collaboration, and care.
Thank you, Kat.
Stay safe, you've got this.
Thank you, Kat. So all the teachers of you who are watching us from Estonia or from outside, flexibility, communication, collaboration, and taking care are the 4 key words that Kat was emphasizing us. Thank you. Estonia is well known for its digital solutions that are used globally. There are many Estonian technology companies and education tech companies who have made their solutions now free to use for a lot of them. Kadri, you please give us insights where to look and what are tools to use to help us in remote learning.
Yes, hello. It is true. Starting from last week, many of Estonian startups who are offering digital solutions to schools have opened up and offering their services for free. So the whole world would be able to cope with the situation. And these solutions have been well tested in Estonian schools already and proven good results. And as an initiative from Estonia, it has already grown out to the Nordic countries. So if you would switch to my slides, then I would love to show you the solutions in more detail. For example, to get more information of all the solutions that are free or having more easier to get in, you can go into the website called nordiceducation99math.com, and you are seeing here many different solutions for general education, higher education, earlier years, and all those solutions are free for access for you until the end of the virus period, or as otherwise stated in here. And we are also offering many different seminars and trying to reach the helping hand in this time. And I would love to show you around in some of those solutions and to actually show how they are working and how you could benefit from it. We are having solutions from for students, for teachers, and for schools in general. So first of all, I would love to introduce 99 Math. And this is a multiplayer game to make math fun. So I'm going to choose here and set up a game. Please take all your phones and start playing with me, or do it on your desktop, because I'm going to put the live game on right now to show you how it works. So first from here, I'm going to choose what kind of math assignment I want to make happen right now. And I'm going to choose here how many rounds and how long I want it to be. And then I press play. And please now go and take all your mobile phones and press in join.99math.com. And once you have entered the site, then you're able to code. And I'm going to give you some time so you could go and log yourself in there, and then we can start this game all together.
All right.
I'm going to do it myself as well. Yes, I'm almost inside now. The game is set up, and I see people joining in. The numbers are going up very fast. You can play it with your class. If you're a teacher, you can set it up with your class, or kids can set it up themselves with their friends, or parents can set it up for their kids if they're having many kids at home and want to teach them how to participate in math game. And now I'm going to press start game. And please look at your phones right now, and you can see the multiplications coming up, and it goes in a way that it asks you different multiplication exercises, and you have to answer by the time. And it runs 30 seconds because I it for service. But you can customize it in a way as you want. And the time is running up. Let's see, how did we do? Oh, Timothy is leading. Nice. And Melike is fifth and Nipitiri is fourth. Let's go to the next round and we can see if we see any changes in the leaderboard. I'm going to show you the live leaderboard going on right now. So you see that this is a live game happening right now and people are answering. And you can see also here which are wrong and which ones are right. And soon we should be at the end of this round to see the results.
Who is the winner?
Who is the winner is the question. I'm going to go here and you can see that the first place is won by Timothy. Second was Ben and Kirke was third. And if we are going into the view report, then you can see actually all the results in very good detail. And if we are going into Timothy's results, then you can see what kind of things did he miss. So he can also learn from it and see the results in real time. So you can give instant feedback to learn from it. But I encourage everybody to try it out themselves. If you're in organizing a classroom or doing it at home. But I'm switching to the next solution, and this is called Tutor Id. And Tutor Id is actually offering solution to match private tutors and students. And this is a solution where you can actually choose the course you want yourself. This is marketplace solution, and all the subjects are represented there. And you can be very flexible with using this solution in a way that you can set up different times where you want the tutoring to happen. And there is literally everything you can find there. So if you're a teacher and want to give flexibility to your students to learn more, then please use it. If you're a parent and your hands are full of doing other things and the job at the same time, then please use this solution to get very relevant content to your kids while they're home, so they can be doing tutoring online. And if you are a teacher and in some kind of weird reason you're having the possibility that you are having this way of too much time in your hands, then please go and sign up and you can give tutoring there also. So this is a multiple-sided platform. I'm going to the next solution, which is called Linguist. And in Estonia, we're having two different solutions for learning language, and Linguist is one of them. And how they are different from other language learning platforms is that they are teaching words, while the other platforms are teaching language in different methodologies. So you can set it up in your mobile phone, and they're offering the service for free until the end of the virus period. So it can be used by the teachers to given to the students to do as a task, or parents can set it up for their kids as well. And the second solution is called Speakly. And this is similar to Linguist, but they are having small differences. For example, Speakly is having mini dialogues and grammar notes also inside. And they have opened up for 1 month free usage during this period of virus. The next solution I would love to introduce you is Clanbeat. And Clanbeat is a community tool for teachers and self-directed learners. So it can be used two different ways. It can be used as a virtual teachers room where you can see the collaboration going on in insights field. People can post highs and lows, very fast information. They can do quick problem solving. They can build up the community to help out each other and really empathize with each other's topics on the table. They can create different hashtag clouds of different topics. So if the person who has gone through this situation already can learn from this situation others have gone through in their school. And this is also good because you are having the possibility to send direct messages to the school staff or to students. It depends with whom you're using it. And you can see live overview, who has gotten the information, who has got stuck, who needs more information. So in this period of very fast information change is very needed. It is vital for operating. And all the information is being organized in this calendar view. It can be sent as a text or as a video content. And you're also having an overview of your people in here, where you can actually see what kind of skills people are having in your community of teachers or learners and who wants to learn what, so you can match up very fast people with skills to solve the situations right now in your school. But this is it. I would love to encourage you all to use those solutions, because as my previous speaker was mentioning before, that it is not a wise thing to take too many technical solutions at once, because your people need time to adjusting. And but I would encourage to do it in a way that you are setting it up, communicating very clearly how to set it up, offering the support, and all those solutions communicated here are offering support from their side also to ease your work of setting it up in your school. So all the solutions are having supportive materials, how to set it up fast. And if you're thinking that you might have people who are not that digitally literate already in your school, then don't be afraid of that. Take the startup mindset, start going step by step, and they will come along. If the first people who are adapting faster are starting communicating, setting up the games, setting up the different environments, then they have already the advantage of teaching others. So this sets up a very good example in your school. And as mentioned already, this situation is temporary, but all the schools are going to go through the change, which is going to affect them hopefully positively in the longer run. So this is a very good opportunity to actually test out different methods which you could benefit also later. And the most important thing is to check in regularly with your students and your teachers, and also ask, how are you doing? Because in this mayhem, we have this very tunnel vision of problem solving. But besides that, we are all humans and we are all making mistakes. So I wouldn't take this too seriously if something doesn't work or everybody doesn't settle in super fast. Just take it step by step and be agile and have this startupist mindset, and you will be fine.
Thank you, Kadri, so much for this overview. So we have something for students, learners, we have something for teachers, and also many things for parents or families generally to explore and enjoy. Is that right?
Yes.
We have here a few journalists that have joined this meeting in a special way. We would like to welcome our journalists from Estonia and Germany, as well as other listeners that are watching our streams. But here, through the iPad solution, we have Benjamin Bathke from Deutsche Welle, Annari Hagel from Äripäev, Raivo Juurak, Õpetajate Leht news portal and weekly newspaper from Estonian teachers, and Anneli Haab, head of communications at Innove. At this point, I would like to ask, do any of you have questions to our speakers? Yes, please. Yes, make sure that your microphone mute is turned off so we can... Now we hear you, yes.
Hi, I'm Annari Hagel from Äripäev. I also represent Äripäev's English startup-focused portal. I have a couple of questions. I'm sure not all children in Estonia and in the world who have to deal with distance learning right now don't have a computer at home or other digital devices that are native for distance learning. Can somebody comment how this is being dealt with, if at all, at this moment?
Einar, would you like to comment?
Well, yes. In fact, in some schools, the school administration decided to lend the computers they have to students for that moment. And this is this one way to solve this problem. Sometimes IT entrepreneurs offer their computers, and so I think that the collaboration again is the key word here. So we all are in the same situation. These are our children who need this equipment. So I think that there are different solutions for that.
I can add to it.
The New York Times wrote that Estonia is better equipped for this kind of pandemic than maybe other countries are, having all kinds of digital solutions. But how can Estonian entrepreneurs and startups be of help to the other countries, or be of better help to the other countries? Kadri, maybe you can answer that.
Yes, so I understand your question that if we are already digitally literate and having a very good technology base, then if those who do not have it, can they benefit from it?
Yes.
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 So actually, each kid in Estonia does not have a computer or a smart device, but most of them do. And the level of devices is also that not all the kids are having latest iPhones or Androids. So everybody's facing those challenges equally. But in a situation where everybody does not have digital devices, then, for example, in Estonia, we are having this initiative which is already gathering the devices for the students. And I encourage other countries to do it as well, to gather together devices from the companies who could actually spread them. And although I'm representing education technology companies, I really believe that technology is not the thing which is number one in this situation right now. Common sense, self-directed learning, setting up, centering yourself, and finding out the best methods how to manage your daily schedule are actually in the number one position. And if you are strongly centered and calm and are at peace with yourself, then you find also the possibility to use the digital solutions way better. And many parents are having many kids at home, and they are only having maybe one computer at home. Then you have to set up different schedules, how all the kids could have the screen time. But as we know that the screen time in general, if you do it the whole day, then this is not healthy. So this is good actually that the kids cannot be all the time next to the screens. So I really encourage being creative here.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I do have one more question.
Yes, please,
if I'm
Anna.
allowed.
Yes.
Probably many big changes, fundamental changes will be seen in how the schools operate in the future, stemming from this crisis. So what could these fundamental changes be, like the top three?
Who would like to give a response, please?
I would
Katri?
love to give a response because I think that this is a very great opportunity for schools and students to start practicing self-directed learning, where kids are taking responsibility of their own time and schedules and thinking through how is it the best to learn for them. And this is a very huge step for humanity. And as you've said that you would love to have 3 answers, then also the digital literacy, as speakers before mentioned that many students didn't have accounts to different internet platforms before. They didn't even have email, for example. And this is a very good time to start them to learn how to be digitally literate, because crises are the best teachers.
Einar, would you also like to comment? Is the
Yes.
remote learning as our future?
Yes, I think that one big change would be that everybody understands now that e-learning is important. That our investments we started in 1990s, they paid off. And what is very important for the future, I think that training, digital competency will be more important than it was maybe before that, or maybe we didn't understand that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anari, do you have any more questions?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any rest from you? Benjamin, Raivo, or others, do you have any questions?
Hi, this is Benjamin. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you very well. Benjamin Bathke from Deutsche Welle, please.
Yeah, I was wondering if any countries have adopted or started using any of your services that you have made available for free, and what the response has been so far. Any examples, if any?
Yes.
If there are any examples.
Kadri, please.
Yes, I will take this question. I don't have the numbers of all the other startups, but I can give an example from my own. I'm the founder and CEO of Clanbeat. And during last week, we have had over 300 schools signing up from Estonia and all over the world. So the numbers are growing fast.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, do you have any more questions?
No, not at this point, thank you.
All right. If any of you have questions, just raise your hand before we close up here. Melike, what is the biggest challenge concerning maintaining of quality of education in this kind of situations? This is one of the questions from our watching audience.
Well, I think that the biggest challenge is that we actually didn't see that coming, and we don't know at the moment for how long it's going to last. So the remote learning we are using at the moment is only an emergency solution, and we are really happy that we are able to put it into practice. And of course, we can all understand that we maybe cannot have the same results and the same quality during the remote learning as in the classroom, but if this situation is going to last for the longer period of time, we really have to start rethinking the whole system. So I think, yes, the biggest challenge is the unexpectedness at this point.
Thank you. And one more from our listeners. Einar, I think this question is for you. Speaking about the collaboration, who are the leading force? Who is the leading force? Teachers, parents, or students?
Well, as I told before, the collaboration is a two-way road. So in this case, all parts are important, but we have to remember that children, students are in the center because they are the most vulnerable part in this situation. So we have to remember that all we do is for them.
Okay. Yes, then I have one, Raivo, I'm sorry, did you have a question before? Raivo, are you still with us? Okay, not right now. If Raivo is still online, we will give a word to ask. Before we close up, one question to Kadri from the audience. How to get on board with all that technology if that has not been part of our lives so heavily before? Just in brief, can you share in brief what can be done?
Yes, I urge you to do the communication very humanly to your students or teachers, depends on with whom you're going to be using the technology. And make it clear that if somebody is failing at it or feeling frustrated or doesn't feel right on the board, then this is okay. Just encourage them to experiment and offer support because right now what is most important is to notice human behind this technology. And if you're talking about how to implement the solutions, then the best way how to do it is if you have the possibility to first onboard the group who is more digitally literate and active and let them to be the first ones figuring it out, and then maybe you could help them to be ambassadors of this new software to the others, because one person cannot cover it all sometimes. So it is a good way to get the round of valleys and a very strong team behind implementing all this tech. The more support you're having from your people, the best it is. And even with the students, in some classes you are having students who are more digitally literate and who are less. So it is a good to give a badge of honor to those who are more digitally literate and say that please turn to them in case of questions, because all the problems don't have to be solved by adults, and kids are very good at communicating and teaching others, and by teaching others they are also learning the best. So I encourage to give more power to the people behind the technology, and they will figure it out.
Yeah, please go ahead, finish up, Kadri.
I just want to say it's not a rocket science in a way that if you start going step by step, you will figure it out.
All right. I think, Mr. Raivo Juurak, you had one question also before.
About language immersion.
Yes, we are hearing you. Please go ahead.
Language immersion is children are learning new languages by communication in dialogues and so on. What is happened now in Estonian language classes, language immersion classes?
Well, yeah. In fact, we are going with our projects, and yes, of course, the language immersion is in the same situation as other programs and all the learning process in our country. So this week was a week of adjusting the situation, and I think that we will be able to make some conclusions during the content language integrating learning day in April, and we will do it online. So, and I think that at that moment we will have some answers to this question.
Thank you. We don't hear you, Raivo. Do you have another question, Raivo, please? Raivo, please repeat.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. Our time for this seminar is getting up, and the time to close this session. The next seminar, web seminar, will take place already on March 26th. Look for more information at educationnation.99math.com. We kindly urge you to share this webinar where possible to reach all those who couldn't participate today. This webinar is going to be up in the Education Nation webpage as also in the 99math.com webpage. And information about this can be also found from the webpage of Estonian Ministry of Education. Would very much like to thank you, Melike, Einar, Gert, and Kadri, for sharing us the practices and this information, and also for you, special guests, and the journalists who joined us in this special way. Thank you all, take care, and stay safe. No niin.